Hey mamas, you're listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast, the only podcast teaching you how to balance your work, motherhood, and wellness. I am Dr. Amber Thornton, clinical psychologist and mama wellness consultant. Each week we dive into tips and strategies and much more so that you too can become a balanced working mama. Let's dive in. Hey mamas, how's it going? Dr. Amber Thornton here. I hope everybody is doing well. It is Sunday. Um, let's see, let's check in. How are things going over here? Well, of course, today was Empower Wellness Day. We had the Sunday group today, and that went really well. We actually did an exercise to help us explore our values a little bit more. So that was really dope and really cool. And I'm excited to do that with the Thursday group. But outside of the Empower Wellness group, one thing that's on my mind is I am gearing up to return back to work. So I do work for a school full time, and y'all, I just. All the struggles and the challenges right now with what's going to happen with schools with the pandemic is like real, like it's real. So just pray for me, y'all. Think about me. We're really trying to figure out what that's going to look like, but right now it looks like the schools in the DC area will be virtual for a little bit longer. So I'm happy about that, so I don't have to actually go out because I'm not ready for that. But we're definitely trying to think about, well, what does childcare look like and all of that. So, really, we're just trying to make things work like a number of you are doing. And so, if you all are really just trying to figure out, okay, well, what does work look like? We're working from home, we're working virtually, or if you're an essential worker, trust, I definitely feel you because the struggle is real right now. So, I hope that you all take care of yourselves as much as possible and do what's best for your family. That's the bottom line. Do what's best for you and your family because that's definitely what we're working on over here. Hey mama, are you a Black woman business owner? Do you have a bomb product or service that you want others to know about? Would you like to collaborate with Balanced Working Mama? If so, head over to balanceworkingmama.com, scroll to the bottom, and you'll find the section Black Woman Owned Business Support Balanced Working Mama. Click the link to learn more and so we can talk about our next collab. Can't wait to work with you. All right, mamas, let's dive in. So, as you know, season 1 of the Balanced Working Mama podcast, we are going through all 8 of the core values of Balanced Working Mama. Last week, we did B for bold and firm boundaries. This week, we are on letter A, and letter A stands for always prioritize wellness. Always prioritize your wellness. So you might be wondering, well, what is wellness? What do we mean when we say wellness? And I want you to know that wellness is so much more than just your physical well being. I think a lot of times that's the first thing that we think about. We think physically, like exercise and eating and stuff. And that's important. That's a big part of it. But wellness encompasses so much more. And here, actually, I want to put in a plug for the Balanced Working Mama Wellness Assessment because what that assessment does is it assesses for 12 critical areas of wellness for working mothers. It is an assessment that I created because I wanted to learn a little bit more about the working mother and her areas of wellness. And so I believe that there are 12 critical areas that are important as we navigate work, motherhood, and our wellness. And, you know, uh, those areas encompass social, emotional, physical, really so much more. So if you are curious about your own wellness as a working mother, definitely reach out to me and let's talk a little bit about the wellness assessment. But, I want you to know that your wellness really takes into account your overall state of being. So think about this question, when someone asks, how are you? But then it's like dot, 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 all of you. How are you? No, all of you. How are you doing in your entirety? I want to know, how is all of you doing? That is what I mean by wellness. It is your mind, your body, your social connections, your emotional supports, your your dreams, your passions, your goals. Are those all in line? Like, how are you doing in your full entirety? What happens is when we don't prioritize our wellness, it always leads to more fatigue and us feeling more overwhelmed and physical, mental, emotional decline. And it's a catch 22 because a lot of times what I see is that mamas are not prioritizing their wellness because they believe that there are other things that are more important or more pressing or more urgent. But really, what happens is that while you're prioritizing those other things, and you're just saying, okay, well, my wellness, I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that later. A few things is happening. One, there's always going to be something else. Especially when you are a mother and you're working, there's always going to be something else that pops up that is urgent and important and that needs your help. And so you're going to run yourself down by constantly prioritizing those other things and forgetting about your wellness. So when we prioritize our wellness first, it helps us to fill our cup so that we are not so fatigued, so we don't feel as overwhelmed, and so we're not further declining in our physical, mental, emotional well-being. We can only be as well as we actually feel when it comes to motherhood. Again, you can only be as well as you feel in motherhood. And so if you're not feeling well, yeah, you might be getting a lot done, but how are you truly getting these things done? And what is the quality of all of these things that you're getting your things? I'm sorry, you get yeah. Woo, tongue twister. And as y'all know, I'm not editing this out. How well are you getting all these things done if you're not prioritizing your wellness? We need to prioritize our wellness. And so, what I want to do is I want to talk about three things that might be keeping you from prioritizing your wellness. Again, this is important because I feel like before I send you off to say, okay, go prioritize your wellness, you might need to first know, okay, well, what are the things that keep me from prioritizing it, and how can I fix that so I don't run into a boundary? I'm sorry, so I don't run into a barrier. We don't want you to run into barriers with this. And just saying the word barrier, it actually made me think of the Empower Wellness Program. I guess I'll put in another plug for the Empower Wellness Program. One of the modules that we work through, I think in week 4, is barriers. And I put that in week 4 because I didn't want us to spend too much time on the barriers in the beginning, but instead I put it at the end because after the mamas make some progress, I want them to go back and think about, okay, well, what were the barriers to your wellness before? And then how do we make sure that those barriers are not going to be an issue moving forward? So if you feel like there have been barriers to your wellness and you're just really struggling to move past them, the Empower Wellness Program might be a good fit for you. But let's get back to the topic at hand. Three things keeping you from prioritizing your wellness and how to turn that around. So, number one, you don't know where to start. This is extremely common. And it's kind of like that feeling of, I know something needs to change. I know that I'm constantly fatigued. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I'm not managing things well. I feel like I don't have enough time for myself. Something needs to change. This what I'm doing is not sustainable with me and my family. I just don't know where to begin. When you are in that feeling or in that state where you don't know where to start and you're just overwhelmed by even how to begin, you stay stuck. You stay stuck because even thinking about what it looks like to get out of that place is overwhelming. Or it could seem like there's so many places to start. You just don't know. So the fix, honestly, I know I've already said this, but I highly recommend the wellness assessment. And I'm saying this because I've seen so many moms transform literally just from taking this assessment and talking to me for 30 minutes. So many. I have some in mind that one day, if they're up to it, I want to bring them on the podcast because I really do believe that there's something about that assessment that really helps to transform all of the fog and all the stuckness and push it forward in a different way. And actually, what it is that the wellness assessment, it provides more clarity and direction on how to get started. Because when you take the wellness assessment, there is a template with 12 critical areas of wellness for working mothers, and you get to learn where your strengths are and where your areas of growth are in terms of those 12 areas of wellness. And so that right there is tremendous, because now you know, hey, I don't have to focus on these areas because I'm doing well there. I need to focus here. So, again, the Balanced Working Mama Wellness Assessment really brings a lot of clarity and a lot of directions on where to get started, literally in 30 minutes. So, if you feel like you're stuck, you just don't know where to start, definitely check out the website. Take the wellness assessment. Once you take it, I'll score it up for you. It comes with a nice, pretty template that is color coded so that you know your areas of growth and also areas of strength, and then also a 30-minute consult with me to talk it through. The second thing that is keeping you from prioritizing your wellness is that you assume that other things are more important. And so I know I already talked about this in the beginning of the episode, but this right here is the thing that really keeps us from ever meeting any of our wellness goals. And because what happens, like I've explained, is that this leads you to prioritize other things over and over and over again. And initially, you don't mean for it to happen this way. You know, it might be like you're in a place where you're like, okay, I'm ready to start my wellness journey. But then next thing you know, you got to enroll your kid to kindergarten. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to hold off on my wellness goal right now because I really just need to make sure that he or she gets enrolled into school and everything's good. Okay, cool. So you enroll them in school, then you're like, okay, my wellness journey, I'm back. Then next thing you know, your other kid, they're about to start their sports league. Then it's like, okay, well, let me hold off on my wellness goal because I got to make sure that he or she gets ready for this league and it's really intense. So I'm gonna do that first. All right, cool. So then the sports league is done. And you're like, okay, I'm about to go back to my wellness goal. And then next thing you know, it's November and December and it's the holidays. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna focus on the holidays right now. Because, and you see how it continues over and over and over again. There's always gonna be something that comes up in our lives because our lives are constantly changing. Our lives are dynamic. Our lives do not only include ourselves because we are working mothers. There's always going to be something. But when you always prioritize your wellness is always the foundation of everything that you do. And no matter what pops up, despite, what, it doesn't matter how urgent it is, how important it is, your wellness is always going to come first. So you will then learn, how do I manage and navigate prioritizing my wellness as well as doing this other thing that's really important. And the beauty in it is that when you are feeling well because you are prioritizing your wellness, you are going to do a much better job at getting that other urgent, important thing done. So we cannot assume that other things are more important. Your wellness is always the first priority. That's why we always need to prioritize our wellness. So the fix for that, if you are one of those moms who's struggling with everything keeps popping up and it keeps pushing your wellness back and back and back, we have to shift your mindset about your own value. You have to really work on challenging that belief that you are less valuable than the other people and the other things happening around you. We talked about this last week in the last episode. When we can ground ourselves in knowing that we have value and we are just as worthy and important in comparison to everyone else in our household and every other thing around us, we are not going to be pushing our wellness goal back and back and back like that because we realize how important it is. So if you are having trouble with assuming other things are important, really work on your mindset around your own value. And you have to know that you are important. Last thing that is keeping you from prioritizing your wellness is that you are shooting for perfection. So who am I talking to? Just tell me now if this is for you. Maybe shoot me a DM, let me know. You are shooting for perfection. You want it to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, then you're like, well, why even bother now? I got to wait till I can make it perfect. Girl, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. What this does is it leads you to continue to procrastinate because you're waiting for something that is unrealistic and unsustainable. Perfection is something we should never be shooting for in motherhood. Especially as working mothers. Like, nothing is going to be perfect. But you know what it can be? It can be complete. Complete is much better than perfection. If you are shooting for perfection, you're never going to prioritize your wellness because your wellness journey, your wellness in general, is never going to be perfect. And I am also an example of this. I always like to remind us that yes, I am very serious and passionate about teaching working mothers and guiding working mothers, but that don't mean I've got everything under control. All of this is not perfect for me. My wellness is not perfect right now, but it's active, it's in progress, it's improving, and that is what matters. It's not perfect. There are so many things in my wellness journey right now that could be better. Could be better. Um, and I'm working on it. And so that is the key. I want to see you working on it. I don't want to see you sitting because you think it's not perfect yet. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to start. So if you are waiting on perfection, the fix is to start today. Start now. That's literally it. If you are waiting for perfection and it's leading you to procrastinate on prioritizing your wellness, you just got to start right now. You got to start. You might not have your fancy workout equipment just yet because Amazon hasn't delivered it yet, but you know what you can do? You can go take a walk. You might not have all of the books that you think are going to bring you the wellness that you need, but you know what you can do? You can Google an article. Like, there are so many things that we can start today that can get us to our wellness journey. And that's what we have to realize. We have to start today, even if it's small. Understand that there is no perfection when it comes to wellness, when it comes to what motherhood, when it comes to juggling all of this, but we've got to start somewhere, and we also have to celebrate the new beginnings. So I want you all to truly work on always prioritizing your wellness because it always will pay off. Hey, Mama, I'm so glad you're listening to the podcast, but I also want to connect with you on social media. So be sure to follow me and Balance Working Mama on Instagram. You can find me at Dr. Amber Thornton. That's DrAmberThornton, and Balance Working Mama at Balance Working Mama. BALANCEDWORKINGMAMA. Follow along, join in on the fun, but then also send me a DM to say hello. See you there. All right, Mama, I want to leave you with a little bit of empowerment. And what I want you to do is to really celebrate your wins. And I don't know why we feel as if we either have to stay so humble that we're not celebrating ourselves, or we just don't even see the progress that we're making. We don't acknowledge it and we don't take the time to celebrate ourselves. So I want you to take a moment and think about what is one small, medium, or big win that you recently had that you didn't even stop to celebrate. Celebrate yourself. You are doing an amazing job. You are working hard. You are prioritizing your wellness. You are trying to set bold and firm boundaries. You are balancing this work, motherhood, and wellness journey and attempting to do it. There is something that you are doing and you are getting better. You're improving. You are encouraging other people and you don't even realize it. So I need you to stop, take a moment, and celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself because you deserve this and you need to know that you are doing it. So celebrate yourself, Mama, really, truly, and share it with me too. I want to know, what are you celebrating today? Talk to you soon. Hey, Mama. Thank you for listening to the Balance Working Mama podcast. If you love this podcast, please be sure to rate it and share it with another mama that you know. And don't forget to follow me and Balance Working Mama on Instagram. I'll talk to you soon.